faces.
Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the preview for Manchester United versus Liverpool, sponsored by BetMate, as all of our Premier League previews are this season. We'll get to more of that in a little bit. But first, I'm joined by Jay Motti, Justin Motter's head. Yes. This is the big one, innit? This is the one, as a Manchester United fan, you get out of bed for in the morning. You know what I mean? Because I know you're pathetic. You've got nothing going on.
Yeah,
but when Man United are about to play Liverpool, you're proud of it.
It's true. I have literally nothing happening in my life.
No.
Nothing going on. No reason, basically, to get out of bed.
No.
Other than when United play the Scousers.
And that's it. What, hatred?
Hatred. Oh, vitriolic hatred.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Passionate hatred. Disgust. Yeah. I'm absolutely infuriated by the mere presence of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll be there for this game. But, yeah, I mean, it is the big one for me. You know, City and Leeds, obviously, you know, the sort of big games as well. And obviously, we've got to look at the likes of Bournemouth, is it, and Fulham, and who else is it? Everton, the relegation.
That'll be around. Well, this is
the relegation 6 points we've got coming up.
This is a relegation 6 pointer.
Well, this is double edged then, isn't it? Because it's not only is it a big game against our rivals, it's also a relegation 6 pointer.
Yeah.
It is live as well, so do get involved in the comments in the chat and let us know what you think about the Liverpool game, about anything else. What you think about Erik ten Hag so far, or you know what he should do, and give us your predicted 11s. We'll get to ours a bit later on. Sorry, go on.
But there's a lot going on here politically, off the pitch. This is one of the, but like football politically, not like, I'm not talking about, you know, things going on in
the
other
world.
Countries. But in terms of the politics of Man United at the moment, it's about as volatile as it's been in my lifetime. Like we are as bad as we've ever been. You know, the Glazers, everything that's going on there, the transfer thing that just seems to have just hit absolute overdrive in the last 48 hours. It looks like we're going to sign Casemiro. We'll talk about the defence first. I think that's where we should start with this, because United have been woeful defensively. Conceded 6 goals in 2 games, both of them against teams that either finished mid or bottom half of the table last season. United have been absolutely awful defensively, haven't they?
Yeah, I've been surprised at how bad we've been.
Yeah.
Which you shouldn't be surprised anymore by Manchester United and how poor we are. Because
well, you
we've
only
seen
thought we'd lose 3-0.
Yeah, well, I said 3-0 for my prediction for the Brentford game. Got pelters, right? Got loads of stick. People like in the comments, people messaging me going, "You've lost the plot, Jay."
I called you a coward.
You called me a coward. People like, "What are you on about? We're not going to lose 3-0 to Brentford." And you know what? You were right. We lost 4-0.
Yeah, they made you look
I
stupid.
stand corrected. You know, even my pessimism wasn't pessimistic enough. But I saw it coming because we watched the Brighton game. I didn't see any sort of team spirit, any effort, any energy. I saw a little bit of Brentford. I saw the result more than anything, where they drawn 2-2, I think it was, with Leicester after being 2-0 down. There's a team that cares. There's a team that have got a bit of team spirit and are fighting for something.
Yeah.
And I thought, do you know what? If they get an early goal, if they get out us, we'll struggle. And we did. We crumbled. I mean, admittedly, I didn't predict that David De Gea was going to have arguably his worst game ever. Yeah. And I didn't quite see that Luke Shaw was going to pick up where he left off for the Brighton game and just being absolutely abysmal. But I did think we'd struggle. Yeah. And, you know, it came to pass. And I think that the mad thing about that game and that result is it could have been worse. Yeah. It was 4-0 after, 40 minutes?
34 minutes.
Sorry, 34 minutes or whatever. So it could have been 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I mean, you can imagine it being 7-0 at Brentford. It's almost unthinkable.
That's already
that could have
up there
happened.
with just in terms of isolated scoreline to team, one of the worst results in modern history. That losing 4-0 to Brentford is genuine. Like obviously it's less embarrassing than the 5-0 to Liverpool because it's such a big game. But when you look at who we've lost to, Brentford, who have been a Premier League team for 12 months, losing 4-0 to them is genuinely as bad as it can get.
It was such almost a carbon copy of the Brighton game away last season.
Yeah.
Not just the scoreline, but the way the game panned out, where you've got a team enjoying their football. Yeah. Like, they look like Brentford were loving it. You remember Brighton last season where they were all just having a celebration. Obviously, they're scoring goals and they're loving it and they all want to get in on the act. And there was that element of every time Brentford went forward at one point, I thought we were going to score. Yeah. We were all over the gaff. And, you know, you can call it a lack of organisation or lack of discipline or whatever, but there's also that part, and I hate using this word and I hate sort of making the argument so basic, but just effort. Yeah. Just effort and a bit of leadership. Someone to go, hang on a minute. Let's get hold of the ball. Someone put a foot on the ball. Let's keep possession for 5 minutes. Let's win our individual battles and let's just take this thing out of the game. There was none of that. Everyone's all over the place. People throwing their arms around, looking at other people. And you think, this looks like a team. And I've said this so many times with Manchester United over the last year or so, but it looked like a team that met that morning for the first time.
They look like they hate each other. It's like, have you ever seen, I mean, I'm embarrassed to admit I've ever seen this. Have you ever seen X on the Beach, the TV show?
I've seen a little bit.
Do you know the concept of it? Basically, they send loads of people all on an island together that have all slept with the same people.
Right.
And they fucking hate each other for obvious reasons.
That sounds absolutely horrendous.
That's what Man United look like.
Yeah.
Like, all exes of the same person going, right, you got to be best mates now. And they go, I hate him. Yeah. I hate him. Can't believe he did that. It literally looks like a team of players that hate each other.
This is
like a reality show. A reality show of people who hate each other. Like, can we get someone from like every political party to be in a football team together? Like you got BNP playing with Green Party. Yeah. It was literally like that, like a social experiment.
Instead of X on the beach, it's just shite on the pitch, basically. That's
you know what, you deserve that. That's a handshake for great content right there. Well done, Jay. Let's move on to changes then, because what cannot happen is for us to see the same thing. Because if we play as badly as we did there, the same amount of mistakes, individual mistakes, team mistakes, 5-0 last year will look like a gift. I would take 5-0 if we play as badly as we did last week. Things have to change, don't they? Like for everyone's career's sake.
Imagine in your lifetime, genuinely in your lifetime, saying that you'd be prepared to take a 5-0 loss to Liverpool. Like, I would never have thought that possible in my lifetime to one day sit here and go, you know what, we might even look at a 5-0 as a decent result.
If we play how we did last week, it'll be 7-8-9, genuinely. The amount of individual mistakes, like, because the thing with the Liverpool game last year, it was just like lackadaisical, like, we don't care, we're not giving a shit type performance against Liverpool. Everyone was awful, but there weren't the like rolling the ball to the attackers type mistakes time and time again. Balls going through arms. Yeah. Like, if we add those mistakes on to what was just a I don't give a shit performance, it could be 8-0.
Yeah,
we have to stop that.
For me, and I'll be honest with you, in my lifetime, one of the lowest points, probably the lowest point, when you think of the context of it, because losing Champions League finals and losing finals, you're still in a final. Yeah. You know, I know it's heartbreaking. And losing the title to City on the last day, you're still finishing second.
You're still arguably the best team in the country.
And you still won it the next season. But I remember last season at that Liverpool game, at half-time, the referees indicated 2 minutes and everyone's kicking off. How's it only 2 minutes? You've had all this kick-off with Curtis Jones. It should be more. We're all kicking off and wanted more added time. During those 2 minutes, Liverpool got fourth. Yeah. And we were arguing like in the crowd, we wanted a bit more time. And you're like, this is just embarrassing. It's beyond embarrassing now. And that was when you just knew. I knew, and I loved Ole as a player, and I believed it. I enjoyed a lot of what he did as a manager. But I knew that was it then. There was no coming back from that for him. And for a lot of these players, and it's sort of sad that so many of these players are just carrying on with the performances that mimic or sort of the same performances as we saw. Just quickly as well, Susan Lively Sue, welcome to the Academy. Thanks for your support. We have had a few comments. I'll get into a few comments before we start talking about changes. Juton Sanjay says, Garnacho and Zidane, Iqbal must be in for a start. Brian Casey's given us his score prediction. He says 2-2. Jordan says, we can only laugh about the situation. Otherwise, I think we'd all be crying. DB Cooper says, Jay, can I just say, you are the man. Thank you. Patrick Cassidy says, thanks, Joe. Now I'm drunk at work.
Yeah, good. I told him we could have a beer earlier.
All right. Yeah. Well, I don't blame you, to be honest with you. He's probably better off just drinking himself daft for the next few days.
Mo Salah last season against United got 5 goals and 2 assists in one season against.
He hadn't scored before, had he, against us?
Either none or one.
It was like a thing, wasn't it? His record against us was poor. It was like Ian Rush in the 80s. And we'd had people like Matteo Darmian and Ashley Young keeping him quiet. And then he just, that performance, it was like Luke Shaw and Harry, well, mainly Luke Shaw, just had a bet on him to score. So abject.
What do you want to see changed for Monday then? Not from last season, well, maybe from last season, but from that Brentford performance. What has to change for us to have a chance of getting any result against Liverpool?
We need someone in the midfield to do some tackling. You cannot have Christian Eriksen or someone else in that midfield who's just not got it in him to stick a foot in. I know we haven't got any natural ball winners in there. We got rid of Man United, who was our only out-and-out DM. But you have to have someone who can at least attempt that and get stuck in. You need a little bit more protection for the back four. I think you need that. Personally, I think you need some changes as well. And you'll see my predicted 11 in a minute. The stats that we've got as well are powered by Opta, just so you know where we're getting our stats from. This is my 11. We're going straight into it. Now, this is my predicted 11. what I think Erik Ten Hag will do.
Really?
And you might think this is drastic, but I think it's drastic times calls for drastic measures. Now, the big one, obviously, that stands out there is Tom Eatonstein, because you're going to go, what?
I don't even think that's the big one.
Right, okay.
I think that's the second biggest one.
Right, the second biggest one, fair enough. Tom Eatonstein, is he going to drop David De Gea? David De Gea looked like a man who lost every ounce of confidence last week against Brentford. And I think genuinely you could play him against Liverpool and end up being faced with a decision of whether you have to sub him.
Yeah.
If he carries on like that against the Scousers and it's like 5-0 at half time and things are just spilling and he's having a nightmare, you're going to have to think to yourself, do I let him carry on and possibly be on the end of a 6 or 7 or 8-0 hammering, or do I take him off at half time? And to sub a goalkeeper is unthinkable. So I think he might just say to him, listen, get your head together, have this game off, let's bring in Tom Eaton. I know Tom Eaton's not great as goalkeeper in the world, but he's capable of playing a game, even against Liverpool. I just think he might have to make a tough decision. I really do.
I said after the Brentford game that David De Gea in particular, but a lot of these players, but De Gea's the standout because of how poor he was individually. He's playing like he's got PTSD. And I don't mean that in like a war, you know.
I mean, you can have PTSD from anything.
Yeah. But I mean that genuinely.
No, and listen, like, I'm not belittling PTSD and making, light of it.
But there's
I understand
huge,
what you mean.
There's
something going on.
Scale of what that can be, the severity of it. But I genuinely mean, when he goes out there to play for Manchester United, he looks like someone that is struggling to take in what's going on. Like, he looks lost.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, he was going, I've got to play it short. Eriksen's come short to drag the man away to leave space in behind.
This is what me and you were talking about.
Because he doesn't realise that. He sort of clouds up and fogs up, plays it to Eriksen, who's got a man on him.
Yeah. I don't blame Eriksen, because you made a great point there. I think we were talking about this. People go, why has Eriksen come short? You come short all the time to drag people away.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean give me the ball.
No.
It can mean like there's a bit of space in behind me, think it over me, or I'm creating a space, or, I've took the attention away.
Yeah.
And also, you as a goalkeeper can see in front of you.
Yeah.
Eriksen might have a man behind him, and you can see that. He might not be as aware as you are. So you go, right, I'm gonna miss him out.
Yeah.
It's basic, that.
Yeah, it is.
It's so basic.
Because also that not just is the space there for an immediate pass over Eriksen's head, but also if Eriksen comes short, you play it to Maguire or to whoever, they play it to the fullback. That space is still there, or is only just being refilled by their midfielder.
Yeah.
You've created space for 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds there in that gap there now, which is a crucial part of the pitch. But it's like he doesn't know how to exploit that, and he just can't seem to work it out.
No.
It's like the thing is, when you say about dropping for a game and bringing back, you think he's had all summer with a new manager, learning a new style, being taught what to do. 1 week off isn't going to fix this.
Do you know what, though? People, and I love David De Gea for what he's done for the club, right? But people sort of jump on the good things, some people anyway, too quickly and ignore the faults. And even in pre-season we saw it. Me and you was at the Liverpool game in Thailand, very fortunate enough to go over there. And there was times then when you could see he didn't come for the ball when he should have done.
No.
And you were pointing out, you're going, he should be off his line there. And he did some good saves, especially with his legs. And you go, he's done a great save. There's no disputing he did some fantastic saves. But there's a couple of mistakes he made, and it worries you a little bit. And then I think, was it the Atletico game not the Atletico game, sorry. Was it Palace or Perth? One of the games in Perth where he made a mistake, and you're like, oh, that's not great or whatever. I think it was sorry, I'm getting it completely wrong. There's the Villa game on it.
Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne. I've got everything wrong there. The Villa game there, sorry, where, they get a last-minute equaliser and he could have done a little bit better. So you're sort of ignoring those faults. You're going, he's had a good pre-season. I kept seeing that. And I'm thinking, he's done all right, but he's been a few mistakes. Yeah. You go into the first game, I don't think he covered himself in glory against Brighton. There was a couple of times there where he looked shaky, playing the ball out. Again, one of the goals I thought he could have done better for. Then you fast forward to the Brentford game, and it is horrendous. Yeah. It's horrendous. The only credit I can give him is he got his head together in the second half. It would have been easy for him to crumble, and he did make some saves in the second half. Admittedly, saves I'd expect him to make.
But it's too late by then.
Yeah, but you're 4-0 down, and, two things I give him credit for. One, he got his head together in the second half, and two, he came out and he fronted it, and he held his hands up. And I respect that, but I just feel there's no benefit to playing him right now. I don't think for him, for the team, or for the game.
No.
Also, now... You look, I know the other one that stands out.
Yeah, well, there's two more.
There's two, right? For starters, I think Varane comes back in. Maguire, I don't expect him to lose his spot. I put Martinez in front of those two. I know he's only played about 6 games, whatever, or 10 games as DM, but I think we need someone who can play DM, and he might be the only option. I've gone Wan-Bissaka over Dalot. Now, you might go, why have you got Wan-Bissaka in over Dalot, who played all summer? Also, Wan-Bissaka apparently is on his way back to Crystal Palace. and this is just, just my feeling that Erik ten Hag might just look at this and go, Diaz against Dalot. I know. I mean, Wan-Bissaka's not great, but defensively, for me, he's better than Dalot. And I just fear Diaz against Dalot. I think he could cause us all sorts of issues.
Normally, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
But we did this last season and brought Wan-Bissaka back in against City away, and he was destroyed. He was awful. And he didn't have the 1v1 stuff. He was caught out positionally.
I agree with all that. The one thing I would say to counter that is I have seen Aaron Wan-Bissaka play very well defensively.
Me too.
Not hundreds of times. That's nonsense.
Dozens of times.
Dozens of times. I have.
Yeah.
I've seen Dalot play very well defensively a handful of times.
Yeah.
And usually not against players of the calibre of Luis Diaz.
No.
Also now on Malacia on the other fullback position.
Gotta be.
Shaw has been dreadful this season, and he was dreadful last season. And Malacia's done okay when he's been picked. Did okay. He did well in pre-season. Did all right when he came on against Brentford. So that's my thinking. Get involved in the comments. I know these are quite drastic measures, but I feel like we're in drastic times.
So, no Eriksen is the other big
Eriksen, I just feel like he did well in his first game, not so well in his second game. I don't know as well whether you keep playing him every week, whether you do need a bit of rotation with him.
Yeah.
Not because of the whole heart thing. I think he's fit. I just feel like, it is a lot of football, and also we do have other options, and I feel you need a bit of Fred's energy in that midfield.
Yeah, me too.
Plus, he's got a bit of fight in him, Fred. He's up for it, and this might be a game where you need someone who's up for it. The front three, I was torn whether he might throw in a Garnacho or even bring back Martial. I think he'll go with Ronnie, but it's paper-thin margins. I wouldn't be surprised if he just went, you know what, Martial, you're back in. I just wonder whether he's thinking fitness-wise, match fitness, you've not played for a few weeks, this isn't the game to start you. Maybe bring you on at half-time if things are going Pete Tong. But yeah, get involved in the comments. Let me have a look. So I'll just get in some comments and then we'll get back to you. Michael Christensen says Eriksen needs to start. Ozzy Gamola says, who's a member of the academy for 2 months, says drop Shaw for Malacia and start Martial if that winking wanker Ronnie. For that winking wanker Ronnie, if fit, sorry.
Is that a reference to the World Cup in 2006?
Yeah, I can't believe anyone still mentions that.
That's fantastic. A 16-year-old reference there.
I can get into that sort of bitterness.
Yeah, you
I'm
love
like that.
Yeah.
That's me all over.
Yeah.
Ariave Prabhakar, forgive me if I butchered your name there, says, what will Garnacho have to do to start ahead? I presume of Rashford there. Nazamar says, how do you think Aaron Wan-Bissaka will perform? He's doubtful he'll start because he's like the forgotten man in here. But I just feel like he might go, for this one, defensively, you're a bit better than Dalot.
Yeah.
Who had a good pre-season, Dalot, but he's not picked up where he left off from pre-season, and in the first 2 games he's been pretty woeful. Get involved in the comments and hit the like button as well. Give us a like. Almost 3,000 people watching. I think we've got about 100 likes, which is pretty bad.
Should we move on to my team?
Yeah, let's have a look at the sensible option.
Quite similar to yours, actually.
Oh, you've gone with Heaton.
Yeah, I've gone with Heaton. I've gone Dalot because I think Wan-Bissaka's just like behind me in the pecking order.
Okay, I understand that.
The rumour was that Varane was coming back. My genuine prediction, this isn't what I would like to see. I think if Varane comes back in, I think it's for Martinez. I don't think it's for Maguire. I think the fact that he took Martinez off at half-time last week suggests that Maguire is ahead of Martinez in the pecking order. If Varane's coming back, I think it'll be for Martinez. Not necessarily what I'd pick, but I think that's what it'll be. And then Malacia on the left as well, because he has to play over Shaw.
Is there any weight, do you think, to height? I don't think height's going to be much of an issue in this game, is it?
I don't know, because Liverpool put a lot of aerial balls into the box. They
haven't got Nunes, have they?
No, Nunes is suspended.
So they got, is it Firmino? Because I think Jota's out. I mean, Jota's tiny anyway, but
yeah. But the thing with them is they win loads of headers. They win loads of headers
as well.
Yeah, but the way they win balls isn't by beating their man in the air. It's just by
pinging balls over.
Yeah, and creating space in the box that they exploit. They don't you're not going to see Salah jump above Maguire, probably.
Yeah.
But much like, the Messi header in the
I knew he was going to say that, yeah.
He didn't beat Ferdinand in the air.
No,
he was just in the right space. And that's how Liverpool score goals. So I don't necessarily think height will help us. I just think Varane might come back in. And then in midfield, it's not what I want to be saying, but what I think will be picked.
This is predicted, by the way. Yeah. CJ Jones says both of you want Maguire to start. This is who we think will start. This isn't necessarily who we would pick. It's who we think Erik ten Hag will start.
I think
it's
this
a predicted
is who will
11.
Start. I think McTominay and Fred will play.
Right.
I don't want them to.
No,
we're obviously trying to replace them because Casemiro should be here for the Southampton game. I think these will start. I think Fernandes will start. I think Rashford and Sancho will. And I personally think Martial will come back in. I think he's been training this week. I think with press conferences later this afternoon, so there's a chance that he'll say, that's not going to happen. But I think if he's fit, Martial will and should start. Because forget all the stuff off the pitch with Ronaldo for a second. He's been poor on the pitch as well. He's been anonymous. He's not done anything. Yeah. He drops deep, gets fouled, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not particularly keen on starting him the way he's playing at the moment anyway. Give Martial a chance. Any questions?
My only sort of slight... Yeah, I mean, the options we've got aren't great. I understand the McFred thing because, we need someone in midfield who can at least pretend to be in the defensive midfield role. And McFred have done that between them in the past under Ole. We've had success with that. I know it seems like a distant memory now. That was the main midfield that when we did, play well, it was those three really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I hear you, especially, and Rashford and Sancho have got to turn up, man.
Yeah.
They've got to. It's so frustrating for me because if they were crap and I thought there's nothing in them, I'd say it. I call it as simple, they're not. No. We know these players can cause any team problems. Rashford's record against some of the bigger teams is very, very impressive. Yeah. He scored goals against like City, Liverpool, Chelsea, I think as well. Mm-hmm. Sancho was absolutely tearing it up at Dortmund, and yet they've done nothing between them for the best part of 14 months, whatever it is. I know Rashford was injured or coming back from his operation, sorry, and it's really, really frustrating. Casales says, "Hi guys, Glazed Out campaign on the Grand Post, a pic of yourself holding out Glazed Out card. Give us a shout, Casales 1958. Yeah, there's a protest planned before the game. I think we've put that on socials, so you'll see about that. I think the 1958 group and a few others have been involved in that, protesting against the owners." Ahead of the game. This has been ongoing for quite a while now, and rightly so, because I think we can all agree. Well, I hope we can all agree that we need to get rid of these owners. We need these owners to do one. It makes your team makes a lot more. It probably makes more sense than mine in terms of what's likely to happen. I don't think he'd. Wan-Bissaka was a bit of a punt in my. To be honest with you, Martial played well. I know it was only like a reserve game almost, but he played well against Liverpool in pre-season. Mm-hmm. Ronnie's obviously had a few issues there, and McFred kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
probably more likely than him putting Martinez.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it's just the most likely scenario.
I understand that.
Let's move on to our opposition preview then. Very lucky today. We've got Adam McCullough speaking to Chris Pajak from the Redmen TV.
Yeah.
So they're going. We just sit back, let them explain to you exactly what's going to happen here. We'll speak to them. Adam McCullough speaking to Chris Pajak. Let's have a look.
So this preview is all of our Premier League previews this season are brought to you by our mates, BetMate. And BetMate allows you to bet on fantasy football. BetMate isn't a bookies though, and you're playing against your mates or the BetMate community. And in this instance, I will say BetMate community this week because Chris isn't my mate this week. Manchester United, Liverpool are coming up. So I'm playing against the BetMate community. How you doing, Chris? You all right?
I'm all right, mate. I'm looking forward to this one. There's no better game, is there? Like Liverpool, Manchester United, it's the fixture that you look out for. And when the season came around, I was made up. It was early because I was thinking to myself, the Ten Hag could do something with Manchester United. So to get Manchester United away early doors for me, going into the season full of confidence, expecting to be on 6 points, I was thinking easy win, you know what I mean? And then seeing the way that Manchester United started, I was thinking easy win. And then I saw the way we started, I was like, oh, Manchester United away. Tough time to play them, really.
Yeah, we're sitting there now thinking, so you're saying we've got a chance. So there's a possibility that this game could result in both teams going 3 games in the Premier League, Open Premier League. If it's a draw, neither team will have won. That is mental. That is mental. But anyway, this week, the main...
But the difference, Adam, the difference is that we'd still be able to get Invincibles this year.
Yeah, Arsenal fans love a draw, don't they? That's the Invincibles team did have about 20 draws, so you are still right. But fingers crossed, we can actually get a win. Because look, I'm backing Erik ten Hag. I'm fully behind him, and I agree with you. Like, I kind of feel like he can. He's the first manager we've had where you kind of feel he can do something. But if you lose your first 3, it's so bad, isn't it? It's so bad. Just the fact like he's lost his first 3 games, you're going to get started to be talking about like De Boer and stuff. So hopefully we don't lose this game. Hopefully we can get a win. Hopefully, Old Trafford, Liverpool brings it out of us. But like I was saying, this week, the main part on BetMate is for the Manchester United Liverpool match on Monday night. £5 entry and you can win a share of £1,000. And you'll be playing up against myself and Chris and everyone else. Click the link in the description and use the referral code Paddock5 and you get a free £5 bet once you enter any paid pot. All the Paddock lads and the Redmen TV boys are in as well. So make sure you're beating, especially them lot. I've had a few wins as well, so I'm not doing too badly despite the fact Manchester United are doing terribly. Right, Chris, let's get your team, mate.
For BetMate, I'm going to go Alisson in goal. I'm going to go Joe Gomez because I think he's going to start, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm going to go Bruno Fernandes in the middle of the park, and believe it or not, mate, I'm going to go James Milner. I know it's a bit of a wacky one, but he scored half decent points last week, and he's got an assist in him. And I also think he's going to play, which is a big thing. When we've got loads and loads of injuries like we have, 10 injuries or 10 people not involved, one of them is a suspension.
Those there are excuses, guys.
I know, man. 2 games in. Most in the league by a country mile, which is only on us. It's sports science, isn't it? At the end of the day, when it's all muscle injuries from Liverpool. Mo Salah and Luis Diaz. We're not 100% sure whether Bobby Firmino is going to be back. We know Nunes isn't going to be in this side for obvious reasons. So them two. I've captained Salah and I've gone vice-captain Luis Diaz.
Oh, so you've got the one Manchester United player in there who is Bruno Fernandes. Why out of everyone did you go Bruno rather than, let's say, Eriksen or the midfield genius?
I don't know that Eric Ten Hag. I don't know why Eric Ten Hag bought Eriksen, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. I thought his best position was a 10. I thought your best player plays in a 10. And since then, we've seen Eriksen kind of play really far forwards. We've kind of seen him play in a 2 in the base of the midfield. And because of that, I just don't know whether Eric Ten Hag knows what he wants from Christian Eriksen. I think he might want a Jorginho type of player, to be honest with you, to help his play out from the back. But if your goalkeeper's going to put him in trouble like he did the other day, then no one's getting out of that, are they? So that's why I went with him. I don't really rate the strikers at Manchester United at the moment. I think Rashford
had a Marshall FC here, mate.
Yeah, all right, sounds. Lone players always do really well when they go away and come back. I mean, you've been saying this since I met you, to be fair, like about 6 years ago. And we're still waiting for it. So it's a slow burner. I appreciate it. Like, it's same as me in the Lucas Leiva fan club. After 10 years, you could actually say he was half decent, but he didn't win nothing with us. You know what I mean? Whereas, look, Martial, Rashford's got loads and loads of potential. When he broke through, I thought, oh my God, I'm absolutely gutted that Manchester United have got a lad who is A, as sound as he is off the field, and B, as good as he was on the field, but he's just not kicked on yet. And that's clearly because of continuity and the managers and, this sort of Frankenstein team that Manchester United have at the moment with all these bits and pieces from different managers and systems. It's tough to overcome, and right now I feel like the strikers are the ones that are bearing the brunt of that more than anyone.
I totally agree with you. I think it's a result of Manchester United's madness that we've kind of let down players like Rashford, and I think if we don't fix where we're going very quickly, then the same kind of thing will be happening to Sancho and all these other talented players we potentially bring through to the club. Right, my team is I'm gonna hedge my bets here a little bit, and obviously I'm eternally optimistic that Manchester United will win, but just in case we don't, I'm gonna go with Alisson in goal, and in the back I'm gonna go with Lisandro Martinez, the butcher, and unlike other weeks, I am gonna pick 2 opposition players this week. I only picked 1 before. I'm picking 2. I know it's a bit dirty, but there you go. I'm going to go with Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Whoa, you're right. I thought Wan-Bissaka was better than him.
Well, yes, he is. But at the moment, he's going through a difficult time. He's on the bench and he can't get in ahead of Delo. So, Delo's really good as well.
Yes,
you see, so there's that. In midfield, I'm going to go with Bruno and Eriksen. Just because I don't really, like you alluded to Milner possibly starting, I don't really know who's going to start in midfield for Liverpool. And then up top, we are going Anthony Martial, who's hopefully back from injury, and Marcus Rashford. Yes, we do. Surely he's due a goal, right? Surely he's going to twist up Trent again. Hopefully. Anyway, that's my team. That's Chris's team. Make sure you're getting on it on BetMate as well. Download the app. The link is in the description. Referral code Paddock5. Get involved in the Manchester United Liverpool game as well. There's a huge £1,000 pot, and you get a £5 free bet when you do join any paid pot. And remember, those are some tips for your teams. You may not want to go with that advice, and you may want to pick your own.
So there you go. There was the opposition preview. Thanks to Chris Pajak from Redmen TV for coming on. The only thing left, Jay, score predictions. Get your score predictions in the comments. Get your score and scorers. What's the score going to be? Who's going to score the goals? Jay, your score and scorers. Manchester United versus Liverpool at Old Trafford. The redemption story. 2 games, 2 losses last season against Liverpool. 2 games, 2 losses this season for Manchester United. It's all shaping up for a big, big win, isn't it? And also, can I just say, we haven't even mentioned the fact that Liverpool have only got 2 points this season. I hate to say this. Them dropping those points have not been the same types of performances that we've dropped our points in. I know they've only got 2 points less than us. The Fulham game was a pretty even game, to be fair. They weren't great in that. The Palace game, they had a lot of chances against Palace. As much as it pains me to say it, it's... Go on.
They lost a man as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like under the lights, the crowd will be pumping.
Come on.
Because it's Liverpool, I can't bring myself to say it. Like, I can't.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I just can't.
If it was Brentford, what would you say?
If it was Brentford, I would have said 3-0 to Brentford. I'm going to go with an Archbishop Desmond Tutu.
Really?
Yeah. I just... It's my heart, not my head. The crowd are going to be up for it. We need a reaction, and now is the time to give us one. And I think, you know what? If we do get a draw against Liverpool, I will celebrate that draw like I celebrated Ollie's winner in 1999, because that is the levels we're at the minute. And it's so sad to say, but not getting beat at home to the Scousers will be a massive achievement for this team and the way they're playing. And I know that is proper too, Bob, but it's true.
Who do you think is going to score?
I'll go with Bruno twice.
Love that. Again, I can't bring myself to say we're going to lose.
I know, it's horrible, isn't it?
I'll take a 1-1. I'd love a 1-1.
Bad, innit?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But the thing is, like, I keep thinking he'll turn around at some point. We've been playing like this for 6 months. Like, well, not including the summer window. Do you know what I mean? Like 6 months of games.
Yeah.
I think we're bottom of the league table since Christmas.
Yeah.
Like we're on relegation form and have been for ages. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a little blip. We've just been shit for a long time.
It's weird, isn't it, how things have just gone complete sort of 180. We were so good away from home not long ago, and now we're the worst team away from home
in Europe.
Literally we've lost 7 games away from home. Sorry, and some of those have been emphatic losses.
Yeah.
Liverpool 4-0, Brighton 4-0, Brentford 4-0. Do you know what I mean? That's amazing. That,
yeah, I'm gonna go 1-1. Yeah. I don't really believe it, but I can't. Like, I can't bring myself to say we're going to lose.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's heart over head. I'm just thinking how much it would mean if we'd got a result against him.
Yeah.
Obviously, a win would be unbelievable. I just don't know where that's going to come from. Yeah, 1-1, and I think Martial will get the win.
Sorry, Jack Carter. He says Casemiro announced on a pitch like Varane, but we lose.
We're not announcing anyone on the pitch.
No, I think that's not going to end well.
No.
The only thing I'd want to announce on the pitch, what happened is that the Glazers decided to leave forever.
You see the Glazers bringing the scarves on the pitch.
Yeah.
Tomatoes and that. Like medieval times. Bring out
the stocks.
How good would that be? Last game of the season.
Yeah.
They've agreed to sell. We encourage everyone to bring their rotten fruit to the final game of the season so we can pelt the Glazers while they leave. Hey, go on. Look at that. A big watermelon. Fucking have it. That'd be right funny, that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's... Should I say allegedly?
Allegedly, I mean,
allegedly,
we're talking,
funny.
what we'd like to happen, or we'd like to be in the opportunity. We know it won't, and we're not encouraging anyone to throw things at the Glazers.
No, but like rotten fruit from like cartoons and that.
Yeah.
Right, give us a couple of score predictions from the comments.
Yes, I will get into some of those. Rad says 0-0. Ryan says 5-1. Jarzinho says 3-1. I think he says it's a Liverpool. Casper Nordum says, this is how far we have fallen. We'd love a 1-1. Amazing World says 7-0.
Yeah.
TR says Martial hat-trick, 6-3 to Liverpool. Glenn F says 3-1 as long as no Ronaldo, Marcus, Ericsson, then Bruno. Susan, Lively Sue's just joined the academy. It says 2-2.
Good stuff. Right, that's going to be all from us. Massive game coming up on Monday. Manchester United versus Liverpool. We've got something has to change, doesn't it? It can't be the same again. Even if it's a narrow defeat, a draw, a win, whatever it is, we can't look as bad as we have done for those last 2 games, or things are really, really bad. Right, thank you for joining us. Thank you to BetMate as well. Make sure you check the link in the description for them and use the code Paddock5. BetMate, fantastic fantasy football service. Will be there this weekend. You can go up against Jay Motti. That's how good it is. See, so you think you know more about football than him? Prove it. Check out the link in the description.
Everyone knows more about football than me, don't they, to be fair. Big thanks to Chris Pajak as well from Redman TV for coming on. Thanks to Adam McCullough for joining us as well. And thanks to you as well, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you to you, Jay. Thank you for everyone at home for watching. We'll see you in a bit.